Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move this week. I'm Tim Stenevec along with Carol Masser, and we're joined by Bloomberg News Deputy Team Leader for U.S. Equities, Jess Menton. Jess, a lot moving this week. What did you pick?
The top performer and the best performer in the S&P 500 was Western Digital. The ticker symbol is WDC. So if you use the MOV function, you can see that on a weekly basis. So this is a digital storage solutions compatible with Macs and PCs and things like that. So hard disk drives, obviously. And this is a big tie when you're thinking about generative AI and how it's going to have a huge impact on those large corporations and how they do business. So what really kind of catapulted this rally this week on a weekly basis up almost 15% this week was basically Morgan Stanley ended up naming the stock as its top picked, and how what was once thought of as a laggard could end up becoming more of an industry type winner, because usually it gets overshadowed by Seagate, which I will mention. If you look at that ticker, STX this week, also one of the top performers, up 12% on a weekly basis. So Eric Woodring is the analyst at Morgan Stanley. So he has a firm and basically maintained this buy rating on the data storage company. So it boosted its price target to $99, and it was previously $92. And the big thing on this is, if you just look from a valuation perspective, is what he was arguing. He was believing that Western Digital's 20% valuation discount over some of its larger peers is basically being overlooked compared to what is happening on the fundamental side. And they think of that more probability in the future, and some of the issues it had from a management perspective is expected to improve. So that, of course, one of the top performers this week, along with Seagate.
Yeah, it was one of the gainers throughout the week for me as well. I mean, the stock's now up about 104% year to date. So quite a tear. It makes me think we got to look at these sectors or get these CEOs on, right?
Yeah, sounds good. Hey, speaking of a stock that did pretty well this week, Broadcom, ticker AVGO. Pretty well. Not as well as Western Digital, but still very well.
Right. So up almost 13% on a weekly basis. And as you mentioned, the ticker AVGO. And of course, the share's soaring on its work with OpenAI to create a new AI chip. And just recently, in recent weeks, people were talking about when it came to Nvidia's revenue forecast not coming in quite as strong as what analysts had been anticipating. It's kind of a rare to see the poster child of AI do that. But then still, you can't overlook Broadcom, because it's still seen as a key AI beneficiary. And so the fact that it's holding up well, and then also actually added more than $200 billion to the company's market cap on Friday. So if you're looking at the chip designers and how it's benefiting from a post-ChatGPT boom, that actually gave investors some more optimism on the AI story on the back of some components within Nvidia's report recently about that missed some of analysts' expectations.
Broadcom now up about almost 45% year to date. So definitely some momentum into that one. Not having such a great week, Lululemon.
Lulu is the ticker symbol. So LULU, down 17% this week. And that was basically its worst weekly performance since March of 2020. So unfortunately, I mean, when you think about some of the athleisure wear and maybe more expensive compared to some of its counterparts and what that's a tell on the economy, unfortunately, it's having this elusive recovery that's prompting 7 analyst cuts, and actually more than that now. So their shares hit its lowest level since the onset of the pandemic. And unfortunately, what happened here and why this happened, it actually cut its outlook for both the third quarter and the third year and the full year rather. So it actually was hurt by weak demand. And then also a component of that, of course, probably not surprisingly, is trade and tariffs under the Trump administration. So you're seeing the buy rating of those shares dropping to its lowest since 2014 if you're looking at the A&R function. So like TD Cowen analyst John Kernan said the company needs to strategically pivot as the company's entering this new phase. And so just looking at the pain in that company's stock right now, unfortunately, that had actually in recent years still outperformed many of its peers. So whether that's a tell on the economy, we'll have to wait and see in the next few months.
Yeah, whether it's company specific or something more broadly in terms of consumer spending. The stock, by the way, shares of Lulu down 56% year to date.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.